Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.0. Prepare for launch.
OTC is go.
Packetbus is go.
PTC is go.
LPS is go.
Houston flight is go.
Pilot go.
STM is go.
Safety comms is go.
STU is go.
LRD is go.
SRO is go. CDR is go.
Launch Director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
99, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Fly away, Houston.
Consequences so severe, so pull your trigger quickly, dear. Our patriots are acting up, let's punish them with fear. Hey, hey!
This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio version 4.0, and it's also a Wednesday, which means it's the day that I answer your questions. That's right, it's the Ask Me Anything. And I've only got a couple of questions this week, and they should not take me too long to wind up answering. So I will, after answering these questions, jump into some of the self-help stuff that I have in my folder of show prep stuffs. And just a reminder, any questions that you do have, you can always send over via email to ama@fppradio.com. You can also respond on Twitter. You can respond on Facebook, because I generally, when I remember, on Mondays, I put out a Ask Me Anything reminder thread where it's a graphic reminding everyone that I do an Ask Me Anything and reminding them how they can submit their questions. So let me jump into the questions. The first question: as president, will you reveal truths that may have been hidden from us if you gain access? And this is, I believe, a follow-up to a question that I had last week about conspiracy theories, which was a follow-up to a question the previous week that I interpreted as being a conspiracy-oriented question, but it was not. So to answer the question, yes, I don't believe that governments should have secrets. So if elected, and yes, if you're new to the show, I am a presidential candidate. I'm seeking the Libertarian Party's presidential nomination. The national convention for the Libertarian Party presidential nomination is over Memorial Day weekend in Orlando, Florida. I will post a link to the website where you can find out more about the national convention. You can purchase a pass to wind up going, although you do have to jump through another hoop to actually be a delegate to the convention. But that's actually, it's not that difficult of a hoop to jump through as long as you're a member of the Libertarian Party. There's pretty much going to be a delegate seat for you. Some states it's more difficult to wind up being a delegate. Some states have already filled their delegate slots. Other states have not filled their slots, but they have certain rules that you need to jump through, or possibly you can't jump through because some have time requirements of how long you have to be a member of the Libertarian Party. You either have to live in the state or have to have been a member of their state party for a certain amount of time. So, you know, it's not super easy, but it's not super difficult either. But nonetheless, let me get back into answering the question. Yes, if elected, I would, if given access to secrets, and I'm guessing that they're asking here, you know, like, did aliens actually land at Roswell? Did the moon landing get faked? And these are things that I honestly think it doesn't really matter. If we find out that, yes, aliens did land at Roswell and the moon landing was faked, what difference is it going to make? Really, what difference is it going to make in your everyday life? Is it going to change the way you drive to work? Is it going to change the job that you have? Is it going to change anything? And I say the answer is no, it's not going to change a damned thing. So, yes, I would wind up releasing all of the infos. The next question: what is your stance on illegal immigration and what to do about it? And my stance on illegal immigration is much like my stance on illegal jaywalking or illegal collection of seaweed at night below the high tide line, or pretty much anything else that is illegal that has no identifiable victim, and that is to repeal the laws that make it illegal. Now, I realize that not everybody is going to agree with that, and that's fine, because not everybody's a libertarian. Despite what some people try to say, not everybody is a libertarian. Sure, most people will have one or two issues where they do hold a libertarian idea, but they're not holding it for the idea of this promotes human freedom. They're holding it for, some unknown idea or some unknown reason that I absolutely have no clue why they're holding an idea that, I might agree with, but definitely not for the same reasons. So, what to do about people that have crossed the border illegally? You leave them alone. You stop trying to send government agents to find them. You stop sending out government agents, finding them, and then spending, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to wind up, having a court case or send them back or, do whatever investigation is involved that the federal government spends millions upon millions of dollars on annually. So you just leave them alone. The same way you leave alone your next door neighbor when he's not harming anyone. When your next door neighbor's just sitting on his porch drinking a beer and, yelling at cars, you just leave him alone. He's not hurting anybody. Yeah, he's annoying, but he's not actually hurting anybody, so just leave him alone. Somebody, they walked across the street when the sign said don't walk. Okay, well, there were no cars coming anywhere. They didn't hurt anybody. They didn't cause a car accident. They did nothing to actually harm anyone. You just leave them alone. Now, I would love to see the immigration laws vastly changed, so that my preferred policy of, if you want to come here, as long as you're not, using government funds to get here or stay here, then, come on. Just don't, rob from people. Don't steal from people. Don't take people's stuff, which is what most people are worried. Oh, they're going to come here and take our welfare. Okay, then you're worried about welfare. You're not worried about immigration. If you're more concerned about someone that was born across an arbitrary line somewhere getting welfare than people that were born here getting welfare, your problem's with welfare, not immigration. This is peace, love, liberty.
The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
So, those are the questions that I had, although, you know what, I did just get one more question that I will answer real quick. The question is, I don't know how often you respond. This was not sent as an Ask Me Anything, by the way. This was sent to my fan page on Facebook. That's facebook.com/TheRealDarryl.W.Perry. The question is, I don't know how often you respond, but do you have an official Instagram that I could follow? And the answer is no, I don't use Instagram. There are so many social networking sites out there that it's impossible to wind up using all of them. And no, I don't use Instagram. I am on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Quitter, which is a new sort of version of Twitter that's more decentralized. And in some ways, I think is better than what Diaspora was trying to do. And I am on Diaspora for whatever it counts. There's hardly anybody uses Diaspora, but I'm on there. There's also Liberty.me that I'm on that I talk about a good bit. And you can be on Liberty.me as well. But unlike other social networking sites, Liberty.me is a paid service. And with that fee that you pay, your membership fee to Liberty.me, you get a lot of things. Among those things is access to ebooks. There's access to audio content. There are chat rooms. There's groups. You can even have your own blog that's connected to your Liberty.me account. And that's something that you don't get with Twitter, Quitter, Facebook, Sue, Instagram, any of the other things. You don't have a blog or whatever, publishing site connected to your social media account. But that is something that you have at Liberty.me. So if you go, use referral code FPP Radio, you save 10% on your membership there to Liberty.me. So now that I'm done with the questions for the week, you know what? I forgot I actually have a couple of announcements. Now, I already announced that on Friday I will not be doing a show. And that's because I will be down in the D.C. area. I'm flying down to film a debate with Dr. Mark Allen Feldman that will wind up being filmed by Public Square TV and then put up online and also broadcast on several community access television stations across the country. I'm not sure when they're actually going to get the video up, but we're filming Friday between about 3 and 5, and then after that, I will be traveling from Fairfax, where the debate is being recorded, to Arlington for a meet and greet with the Libertarian Party of Northern Virginia. They've actually moved up the start time. They had an event scheduled to begin at 8. They've moved up the start time of that to 6 o'clock for me. So I feel very special that they decided to start their event early so that I could attend at least part of their event. And the event that they're having is going to be a Fox Business debate watch party where there was the debate filmed last night with Gary Johnson, Austin Peterson, and John McAfee. That's airing on Friday. And, well, unfortunately, I was not invited to participate in Stossel's debate because I was not part of the inner circle that organized said debate. And I am happy to hear that Gary Johnson did go on the record saying that Stossel should invite more candidates. Unfortunately, he did not use his power as a former governor and former presidential candidate, or, former presidential nominee, rather, to say, you know what, I will not participate unless there are more candidates. He did not say that publicly. I don't know if he said that privately and then was talked into, no, Gary, it's really good for you to just go show up and get whatever media you can. So, he did publicly state that he thought there should be more candidates, but it was not quite as strong as I had liked. And maybe I'm only holding that position because I think that I really should have been invited to participate in that debate. But nonetheless, I will be participating in another debate on Friday, again, with Dr. Mark Allen Feldman, also seeking the Libertarian Party presidential nomination. And then on Saturday, I'm going to Vermont for the Libertarian Party of Vermont State Convention. That's in Burlington at a library somewhere. I'll post the link in the show notes. You can see that. And if you're in the New England area, definitely show up, attend. It will be great to wind up seeing more people. And one other thing, I've done a couple of times, I've done what's called Banana Island. And what Banana Island is a diet to where during the time that you're on Banana Island, all you eat as far as solid food is, you guessed it, bananas. Now, there are some people that they'll do this thing for like 10 days. I've only done it for, I think, 4 days was the longest trip to Banana Island I've ever taken. And I'm doing a like 3-day short Banana Island thing. But, you know, there are health benefits to it. And there are some people that they're like, you should never do that because carbs. And, you know what, yeah, kind of maybe, but at the same time, you know, like it's a really easy way to drop like 5 or 10 pounds in a very short period of time. And, you know, like it does wind up giving you a lot of energy, but also, you know, like this time on Banana Island, I feel a little foggy in the head, and I don't know if it's related to that or if I've just not been sleeping well or what's going on. But luckily, I'm only on Banana Island for about another day because tomorrow I will be doing a meet and greet with the people behind Cop Block Radio. And, well, they're having that meeting at a restaurant where I can use Bitcoin to buy a hamburger and sweet potato fries. So I'm going to use my Bitcoin to buy a hamburger and sweet potato fries. Now, let me jump into some self-help news that I have, or not really news, but a self-help article that I have. And this is something that I've not even looked at yet. It came across my email from Archetypes, which is a website where you go take like a psychological profiled sort of thing, and then it gives you results of, you know, like here's what we think you are, you know, and it's not the same sort of thing like the Myers-Briggs. So they'll break it down to like you're a rebel or you're a caregiver, things like that. So I get their emails, and a lot of times they link over to lifehack.org. And, well, one came in my email today that I just opened. So stay tuned.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
Hi, I'm Nick Hazelton from the Anarcho-Yakutalism podcast, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Before I jump into 10 tips for greater awareness, I want to make sure that I tell you where you can get some gold and silver. It won't make you more aware, but it will make you feel better. At least I know when I hold gold and silver in my hand, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel happy of, hey, I'm holding something that actually has some value in it. And, well, you can get gold and or silver from Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, and people have been doing that since 1977, for nearly 40 years. Think about it. That's almost 40 years ago. Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling your precious metals, or buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760, or visit them online at rrbi.co. That's rrbi.co. Now, jumping into the 10 tips for greater awareness from lifehack.org. They say the word intuition comes from the Latin intuere, which roughly translates to look inside. That's to look inside, not translates to look inside. In simple terms, intuition is that gut feeling that something is either right or wrong. It often comes through as a feeling, an emotion, or a thought. For some, it can be a voice that repeats itself over and over and over and over and over and over again in your head, and over, eventually becoming too loud to ignore. Intuition is a really interesting form of intelligence that goes way beyond the rational mind. It often resonates from deep within and tends to give us answers and direction that extend far beyond any voice of reason. It is more of a subconscious process of receiving information that will help us solve problems, make life choices, and guide us to either proceed or back away from certain situations. Intuition is like an internal compass. If you access it and learn to interpret it correctly, it will open up pathways to an amazing life. And they've got more in the lead-up paragraphs here, but let me jump into the 10 tips for greater awareness in intuition. Get to know your gut feeling. Developing your intuition is different for everyone. We all feel and interpret things differently, so it's important to recognize how your intuition communicates with you. This can occur in several ways. A deep feeling right in the pit of your stomach that can either be light or heavy depending on the circumstances you face. A voice that you hear in your mind that repeats the same statement over and over and over and over and over and over again. A powerful thought that pops into your head so strong you cannot ignore it. And sometimes a sensation in your body, perhaps a tingle, that happens when you are focused on certain situations. Pay attention to the signs and signals that your body is giving you and also what is going on in your mind. Get familiar with the sensations you are experiencing, especially when you meet someone new or are faced with a challenge. Identify the feelings you have and honor them. You will start to notice a regular pattern when you learn to listen and feel the sensations you are experiencing. You will soon be able to interpret them as messages that will guide you. Number 2 is ask the questions you need answered. If you are faced with a challenge and need direction, put your hand on your heart, ask for guidance in the form of a question, and then listen for the answer. It will usually come in a resounding yes or no. If you don't hear the answer instantly, wait for the answer to unfold. And now I'm just going to jump in and say that in a lot of cases, if the answer is not an immediate yes, then it's most likely a no. And that can come with anything, to where at some point a maybe becomes a no. Although every now and then a maybe does become a yes. But if let me just say, for instance, I invite you to a party. And it doesn't matter when the party is, doesn't matter what the party is, but I invite you to a party, and you say, well, maybe. And then you say, well, remind me in a couple of weeks. All right, I'll remind you. And then I send you a reminder, and you'd still say, maybe. And then it's the day of the party, and I've still not heard back from you. All I hear, got the last email or text from you a couple days prior, and it said, maybe. You don't show up to the party, that maybe has become a no. So if it's not a resounding yes, and it's not a resounding no, if it's a maybe in 90% of cases, I would dare say, is a no. So ask the question, and if it's not a yes, then it's a no. Develop your intuition is number 3 on the list. We all have intuition. Some of us come into the world with the ability to hear, feel, and see without a shadow of a doubt. And then some people come into the world and their intuition requires awakening and developing. If you need to develop your intuition, set aside time every day to work on techniques that will open and strengthen it. From meditating to focusing on breathing techniques to recording your feelings in a journal, just like any muscle, you must do work to strengthen it. Don't doubt your intuition. And there's a paragraph here that I'm not going to jump into, And that's because we're almost out of time, so I'm going to speed through the rest of these 10 tips for greater awareness, how to hone your intuition, learn to listen to your intuition here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at FPPRadio.com.
Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's FANS.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey! We're in the middle of 10 tips for greater awareness, and there's just moments remaining in the show. So I'm going to power through these. I will read off the titles, and I may or may not delve into a little bit of these, but definitely want to wind up getting through. Number 5, work with your dreams. And this is something that I've been talking about because dreams that are written down become goals. Goals that have steps become tasks. Tasks are very easy to do. So start breaking down your dreams into things that you can achieve. And just go back, listen to some of the previous podcasts where I talk about how to do that. Be silent is number 6. And this is something that a lot of people have trouble with. I at times have trouble because I talk for a living. So there are times where it's difficult to be silent, but you do have to have that time where you're silent, where you're not really doing anything, where you're just sitting and you're listening to your thoughts. And the key is to make sure that those are good thoughts. That way it's not difficult to be silent and listening to your thoughts. Number 7, read more. And this is something that I think pretty much everybody needs to do. Even though, most ardent readers, they want to read more. So, I'm not saying anything that somebody's like, how dare you say I need to read more? Because if you enjoy reading, you're going to want to, yeah, you guessed it, read more. Number 8, become aware. One of the biggest challenges can be the decision to act on your intuition. It's important to understand that these windows of opportunity presented to you don't stay open forever. So be aware, listen to your inner voice, and then act. One way, in addition to the previous mentioned, learn to be silent, is meditate. And this is something that I don't do nearly enough. But every now and then, after a good workout, I will do, when I have time, I will do yoga at the gym, and I'll just, be there, and it's a form of meditation. It's not, the same, and everybody meditates differently, right? So, don't tell me I'm meditating wrong because I'm doing it while I'm doing yoga at the gym. Number 10 on the list, connect the mind, body, and spirit. It's important for our bodies to be in alignment so we can hear, feel, and trust our intuition. It is vital to invest time and energy into our mental, spiritual, and physical wellness every day. And this is something that so many people do not do. And I did not do for the longest time. But, I'm working on it. And I'm becoming a better version of me. And hopefully you are too. Hey, that's the show. Don't forget, every Wednesday I answer your questions. Send those over to AMA@FPPRadio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copyheart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas, which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.